And we are back. What's up? Peace, love, and hair grease, everyone. This is the STEM Files, the voice of STEM talent in Black culture. We have a great show in store for you today. On tonight's episode, we are building with father, husband, author, motivational speaker, and student minister in the Nation of Islam under the Honorable Minister of Farrakhan, brother Nuri Muhammad, on the Black Scientist in a Changing World. Tune in for more after this, family.
Man, that
Right.
opening never gets old, bro.
Bro, I swear it's so tough. Like, we really did our thing by incorporating that Marvel aspect. But like we saying, show must go on. So, family, thank you again for coming on. This is the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are live on Facebook, the STEM Files, YouTube, the STEM Files, every Thursday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Brilliant Engineer and Tariq Cardiac. Also, make sure to post on Instagram at the STEM Files, as well as Twitter at the STEM Files. Family, I am your humble co-host, your brilliant engineer. I am a civilian mechanical engineer with a background in material science and engineering, the study of how various crystalline structures of materials impact their various properties for different applications throughout. Joined by my that's right, illustrious co-host, Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. What's going on, bro?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm average. I'm an average co-host. I'm not all that good. But my name is Tariq Muhammad. I am a Tariq, aka Tariq Cardiac. I'm a biomedical research scientist with a background in cardiovascular pathobiology, which is the study of how diseases form in the heart and blood vessels. I'm excited for tonight's show. We have a returning guest in brother student minister Nuri Muhammad. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Beautiful, beautiful. How's your camera work? Oh, there we go. There we go. There's our beautiful brother. Welcome back to the platform.
Man, thank you, Brother Tariq and Brother Jabril. It is an honor to be able to share space and time with you two wonderful soldiers. You all are precious jewels in the crown of the Messiah. And I applaud you and I appreciate you for all the labor that you do for the cause of the rise of our people.
All praises due to Allah. Thank you so much. That means so much coming from you, black man. And I can't believe looking at you and how beautiful you look, man. I still can't believe you're a grandfather, man. So I definitely appreciate you being a representation of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, just off appearance alone, black man. Thank you so much.
Well, praise to Allah.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. First and foremost, for those who don't know, which I'm sure everybody who's tuning in knows who our brother is, but can you please give a brief background of who you are, how you became a student minister in the Nation of Islam, and why this episode is important to you?
Well, thank you, Brother Tariq. I'm Brother Nuri Muhammad, titled student minister. I serve in the traditional Christian dialect as the resident minister of Muhammad Mosque number 74 in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I've been blessed with requests from around the country and outside of the country. So we normally travel and teach to 50, 60 cities a year, in everywhere, whether it's, schools, churches, mosques, colleges, civil centers, theaters, whatever, we're there. And we're thankful to Allah for the blessed opportunity to represent the solutions that God gave the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the complex and complicated subjects that plague our people. And I am personally thankful that Almighty God, Allah, gave the, I guess, the way that I represent that to the masses of the people to be considered to be user-friendly enough that we will be able to be invited to all of those circles. So I've been in the ministry accidentally on purpose.
Yes, sir.
Since I was 17 years of age, became an assistant minister in our study group. We were a study group at that time, and I ended up becoming the minister of the mosque when I was interim minister when I was 20, and I was made the minister when I was 21. We became a mosque within 6 months of me becoming the interim minister, and we grew from 16 to 46 believers in a 6-month window of time, and have tripled that since then. And so, you know, it happened like that. I was young. I don't know if I could say I was the youngest, but I was right there a month or two before, a month or two after the youngest ever in the nation, which shows the wisdom of the minister and his foresight to be able to see into the presence of young people and give us a platform to work the field. So since then,
that's right.
You know, Allah has blessed us. We have we built a state-of-the-art mosque that was affectionately called the Miracle on 38th Street because of the magnitude of it, the businesses we had in it, the mosque was in it, school, etc., and the fact that we used all Black contractors to do it. And it ended up becoming a standard staple in the community on the main street. And by Allah's grace, we were able to, even in the midst of a pandemic, to pay it off, and we own it free and clear.
That's right.
By Allah's grace, and it's worth well over $1 million. We sit on almost 4 acres of land, and we have the space. We have 2 businesses operating out of it right now, and space for our daycare and school, as well as the mosque. So that's just, you know, I guess a little synopsis of, you know, my role as a team player at home at Mosque 74, and my role to be a team player, to be trusted enough to be sent out on assignments to represent the minister in so many diverse platforms.
Wow. Well, we are definitely grateful and thankful to Allah that you do serve in the capacity that you serve in, and being one of the youngest student ministers in our nation that our nation has ever seen, you know, is another area of conversation that I want to get into today, especially as it relates to our youth in the STEM professions in science, tech, engineering, and mathematics. But before we do that, Jabril, is this something that there's something that we wanted to pull from the criterion to address? We had Student Minister Dr. Wesley Muhammad on the show last July when we came back to Facebook and YouTube after a 16-month hiatus. And he talked about, it was, matter of fact, it was about 4 or 5 days after the criterion. And we wanted to get his thought process on what the minister said about needing our own scientists and pulling from our communities to vet the different things that our open enemy gives us. So Jabril, can you go into that real quick?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So family, as we know, this current episode is the black scientists in the changing world. So I want us to remember and think about that as we go through this quote by the Honorable Minister Farrakhan from July 4th, 2020 message, the criterion. It says, I say to those of us in America, we need to call a meeting of our skilled virologists, epidemiologists, students of biology and chemistry. And we need to look at not only what they give us, we need to give ourselves something better. All praise due to Allah. divine guidance from the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and as an engineer, my brother Tariq as a scientist in a traditional sense. That I remember texting him when the minister
Yes.
said that. I was like, bro,
that
it's lit.
was the quickest
We out
graphic I
here.
ever
We
made.
out here. He calling us, right? So,
Right.
brother Nuri, if you can, as young STEM professionals, enthusiasts, fanboys, fangirls, people trying to move forward in this light, how should we be internalizing what the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is saying? How did you internalize that? And then what is the marriage between what you're trying to do and then inspiring us to do the same?
Wow. Well, I don't know if you all heard the same thing that I heard, but I heard a dual assignment given to the one field of people considered our own Black scientists. One side of the assignment was to vet anything that the enemy is offering us, no matter how good or grand or how great they claim the efficacy to be. We need our scientists to have the search procedure.
Come on.
My search procedure at the gate of all of our communities to search out. That's what vet means. It means to institute a search procedure.
Right.
And when you come to the mosque, we search you, and we've been doing it prior to mental illness even being called mental illness, and prior to people shooting up houses of worship. We've been doing it. But when you search, we tell people that when they come to the search procedure to take everything out of your pocket except for loose change and dollar bills. And then we search every crevice of the male and the female and all that they possess. Sisters search sisters, brothers search brothers. And what are we looking for? We're looking for anything that you're going to bring into the temple that could cause harm to anyone inside of the temple.
Right.
Well, we should do that. We should do that with what the enemy is telling us. We should stop it at the gate of our ear and ask the thought, ask the words of the enemy. Hell, ask the statements of anybody. Is this your first time trying to come inside of my mind?
Come on.
Who invited you? Whose guest are you?
Right.
Yeah, now let me check you to make sure that there's nothing that you're saying that's going to do any harm to any of these cells that's inside of my brain.
That's right.
I can't let you in. So one side of the scientist's assignment, I heard, was to put a search procedure at the gate of the Black community to check all of the doctors and the scientists of this world and anything that they're offering to make sure that it is not just good and fit because they said so. Because from being a scientist, Brother Jabril and Brother Tariq, that when the enemy explores the efficacy of any drug or vaccine or anything they're releasing to the public, they use white mice.
Come on.
They use monkeys.
Right.
That's right.
And when white people say that somebody got a joke over on them, they'll say, well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Monkeys aren't kin to Black people, they're kin to white people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said they are the product of Caucasian people trying to graft themselves back into original after they first came out of the grafting process. So if the scientists, white scientists that are offering us drugs, treatment, vaccines, if they're only experimenting on white mice, which are recessive and weak like they are, and monkeys, which are closer to them, then whenever they determine the efficacy of any drug, it's based off of how it's going to affect a non-melanated individual.
Right.
So one side of the assignment, brother and sister scientists, is you got to be willing to be that guardian angel of the Black community. You got to be willing to hold search posts outside the hood to make sure that anything that these crackers is trying to offer us has been thoroughly searched and proven to work on melanated people because you said so. And then second, we know that they're scientists of evil and nothing that they do can we trust. We'll spend so much energy trying to search out everything that they offer. We won't have no energy to create something that really works. So the minister said that we have to put energy into developing our own remedies and our own treatments for everything. And I'll say this to close it out. I think that the minister was laying out a blueprint for how we should solve all of the problems that plague our people, not just the coronavirus.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
I think this should be the approach for physical, mental, and spiritual illness that exists in our community.
Come on.
We have to vet what white people are telling us works on our mind and our body. And if we can't prove it, we can't accept it. And more so, we got to start developing our own remedies for ourselves. And I'm thankful to Allah to say to us as a people that we don't have to do a whole lot of lab work or creation of remedies for the social, political, spiritual, mental, or even the economic ills of our people. God already gave all those solutions to a man named Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
That's right.
His mind, and it's now in his books and in his teaching. We follow that, we'll solve all of those. But for these new problems that are coming on the scene with these diseases, we need the Black scientists to be that guardian angel of the hood, that brother and sister on search posts to make sure nothing harmful comes into the temples of God, which are the original people's body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, Jabril, you want to go ahead?
We 17 minutes in, family.
Right.
Listen, I need y'all to drop. I need some black fists in the comments.
Drop some black fists.
I need some prayer hands in the comments. I need some affirmative emojis in the comments. I need y'all to get to texting, get the messaging. Come on, because brother is dropping some extreme jewels. All praises due to Allah. You know, what I heard is you outlining or letting us know that the minister's outlining a mathematical theology. You said Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. It can be proven at no limit of time. So everything we do as members of the Nation of Islam, when we attack a problem, we look at it as a mathematician, as a scientist. Right. So that two-pronged attack is vet what's coming in. Also, there's the aspect of not being comfortable after vetting and always understanding the potential for growth on what you control, on what you produce, right, and being able to produce something even better. Just because something works doesn't mean it's best.
Right, you know?
right.
I can go get some water from a stream. I might get kind of hydrated, but I can also get something from a natural spring that's been thoroughly filtered from the rocks and things underground, and that might hydrate me a little bit better. You see what I'm saying? So all of that has to be considered. All praise due to Allah. So I'm full. My mind is all over the place. I guess my next question would be going back to the theme of the Black scientists in a changing world. One of the old adages is there's only two constant things in life: death and change.
Right.
To change is to be transient. To me, it's not stagnant. It's going forward or it's going backward. So can you speak to, as young Black scientists, technologists, engineers, mathematicians, the desire at times to maintain a status quo for a check versus to really push the envelope and bring in something new for the glory of God and for the advancement of your people and your legacy? The importance of one versus the other.
Man, that's a good question, Brother Jabril. And I think you said something when you gave change the proper definition, because most people think when they think change, they automatically assume for the better. But all growth is change, but all change is not growth.
That's right.
you can change and also change for the worse. And when you do the assessment of the world we live in contrast to the world we used to live in, even in the little time we've been on the planet, we will come to the witness stand and say that the change of this world has not been for the better. It is not on an upward trajectory moving toward God, right and true. It's on a downward trajectory moving deeper into the abyss of hell and conflict and problems. So, you know, in that sense, the I was on an interview a few days ago, and there was a comment made about they were praising me for being able to make a living off of the word. Making a living off because I have books, I have an album out, I have audio books, I have lectures, I have downloads, and I teach a lot. And I told him, I said, well, I want you to be clear on this, brother, that I do receive compensation for a product that is being offered. But if someone doesn't agree with the price that's on that product, they don't have to buy it.
Right.
I said, so I want you to understand that I don't do what I do in teaching or writing books or lectures. I don't do it to make change. I do it to make change.
Teach, come on.
And if I didn't live, and if we didn't live in a capitalist society, I wouldn't want to get paid not 1 cent from teaching our people. But the reality is we do. So when you find, this is the minister's words, the ultimate aim and objective of everything that we do, everything we're trying to become, everything that we buy, everything that we have, it's all in pursuit of happiness. We wear what we wear, we go where we go, we eat what we eat, we sit where we sit, we drive what we drive, we do what we do with the goal of somehow that what we're saying, doing, or eating is going to end up landing me at the destination called happiness. Well, listen to these words. The minister said that I was looking up the definition of happiness. He said, no, not in the dictionary, but I consulted myself. And you know what? This was at a Holy Day of Atonement at Christ Universal Temple. This is where the new educational paradigm message and study guide came from. And word is bond. When he said it, I was sitting on the stage, and he said, not the dictionary, but I consulted myself. The first thought that came to my mind, Brother Tariq, was this. I said, yeah, who in the hell is Webster anyway?
Right, come on, right,
and right. Qualified to tell us what the words really mean.
Come on.
And I said, I leaned in and tuned in to what he was going to say, because I'd much rather have a divine definition from God's servant,
right? Much rather
have an inferior definition from a man that I don't even know nothing about called Webster.
Teach.
So the minister said this. He said, happiness comes when you have found your purpose for living and you are fulfilling that person. He said that soul will have an unspeakable joy. That's right. So at the end of the day, you don't get into science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Listen to me. You don't get into doing nothing.
Right.
That you call a career or a profession unless you have found your purpose. Because if you found your purpose, you don't really care about the money that comes from it.
That's right.
You're not doing it to make change. You're doing it to make change. So what the minister is telling us is that real happiness does not come from filling full the pocket, but it comes from fulfilling purpose. So I'm saying to the young soldiers that, and more than likely, you know, it hurt me. I spoke in a school yesterday, high school year. And this morning I was thinking about them, and my wife said, that really bothered you. I was in here crying, thinking about the the damage that's being done to them inside the school, and the self-hatred that's being reinforced, and how many dream snatchers, aspiration assassins, and spirit killers that they've already met. By the time they went to high school, they have already given up on everything they had as their original goal, which more than likely was their purpose for living.
That's right.
That's right.
So Brother Jabril, in the elementary school, you get into them kindergarten, first, second, and third grade students. When you ask them what do they want to be in life, all of them have something big and grand. They all say engineer. They all say scientist. They all say teacher. They all say doctor. They say something big.
Right.
They catch that same young soldier after he's gotten 2 years into high school in the public food system. I mean, school system.
Right.
You said it right the first time.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad called it the killing field.
That's right.
But most people don't die from a physical bullet when they go to school. But there's spiritual bullets that are sent into the minds of black psyche that kill their hopes, dreams, and aspirations to be what they were born to be. So unfortunately, most of us, by the time we get to a point where we can start fulfilling purpose, have already given up on our purpose because we've met aspiration assassins, spirit killers, and dream snatchers somewhere along the road. Sometimes it was on our own mothers and fathers, uncles. Sometimes it was the brothers and sisters in the neighborhood we grew up with. Sometimes it was a no good school teacher.
That's right.
So I'm saying to the young soldiers, before you start getting enamored with money and what money can do, what was it in your mind that you originally wanted to do when you were young? And more than likely, that was your purpose for living. And if you will do for a living what you love and what you're born to do, which will be your purpose, you'll be happier operating in purpose with less money in your pocket than operating outside your purpose and rich.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm gonna say this to you. I'm a living witness that if you do what you're born to do and what you love to do, you'll begin to do it so well that you will be paid for doing what you love to do, that you will be willing to do for free.
That's right. Money will come.
And at some point, if you force your mind to be magnetized to your purpose, you'll see that paper will be magnetized to you. It'll just happen just like that. Try it and see if I'm telling you the truth.
Talking about that physical science. Yes, sir.
Listen.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Man. So
that's what I would say, that, Brother Jabril, that get into that spirit where you're thinking much bigger than your pocket, and get into the spirit of your purpose. Don't think about filling full your pocket as the motive for your why. Now think about let your why power fuel your willpower, and your why power should be purpose, not pocket.
That's right.
That's right.
And pocket's gonna come.
That's right.
Right. Man, this is we're about to be approaching that 30-minute mark. We're halfway through the program.
Halfway through.
Wow.
Man, this has been amazing. Half the questions I had had already been answered already, but I do want to tap into something you said about, members of our own communities stifling our dreams and putting false images in our heads of what we can and cannot be. And I want to tie that into something you mentioned earlier on about the spiritual and the mental healing that has to take place and where that comes from. And it comes from the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But some of us may use that as an excuse to say that we don't need scientists or we don't need our people in these laboratories fighting on that end. Talk about how we cannot say just because we have the teachings doesn't mean we don't need these areas of science to help not only propagate the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but to help protect our people from my open enemy?
Man,
that's a great question.
Well, it is a great question, Brother Tariq, because unfortunately, you know, every year I watch on television the world debate where Islam and Christianity is always arguing over which one is the biggest religion, who has the most membership.
Right.
And everybody always goes up every year. And now they're saying that that there's 1,750,000,000 Muslims on the planet and 1,500,000,000 Christians on the planet. And the Christians will say, no, it's really probably about 1 billion Muslims, not really 1,750,000,000. But I'm going to say this, the biggest religion on the planet is not Islam or Christianity. The biggest religion on the planet, it got Christians, Jews, and Muslims as members of it. It's spookism.
Come on.
And spookism is an extreme or excessive emotional attachment to a non-existent nothing. And it is possible to be a spooky Muslim.
Yes. Yes.
Come on.
I know that. I know you don't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, it is possible.
That's true.
So,
Come on.
Right.
You have some Christians that say they believe in spooky mystery God teaching, but they live their life like God is a man.
Teach.
But you also, on the flip side, have people that say religiously and spiritually God is a man, but live their life like God is a spook. So the fact that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said these words, God came to make us gods. And then he said that Allah came to put us all on the level of the 12 major scientists.
Come on.
Well, wait a minute. He came to make us gods, but now you're saying he came to make us scientists. How can he be making us both? Is the Honorable Muhammad lying when he says it? Or is a God and a scientist the same thing?
Come on with it.
See, if the 12 major scientists, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, listen to this. He said, these are gods of mathematics.
That's right.
So it is impossible to become a god without a scientific mind.
That's right.
You cannot have a spooky approach to problem solving and a spooky approach to life and become a god.
That's right.
No, sir.
The gods are scientists. So to be a god, which is what we are, that's what this is about. The lesson says like this. It says that God came that he might make us a perfect people and make us into the perfect rulers. Well, the only thing that exists in the universe that is perfect is God himself. So if he's coming to make us perfect people and perfect rulers, he's coming to make us God people and God rulers. Then he says, and if you have not yet this understanding, then you are yet blind to him that came to save you. So we don't do religion in the nation to believe in God. We practice religion to become the God we believe in.
Woo. Say that one more time.
That's right.
This is not. I said we don't do religion in the nation to believe in God. We practice religion in the nation to become the God we say we believe in.
That's right.
So if the goal is not to be a worshiper, follower, believer, apostle, disciple, or a saint, or a companion, or a messenger, or a prophet, or angel, but the goal is to become a God. And a God is a scientist. How will we ever make it to becoming a God if we don't have a scientific mind? And as you said earlier, Brother Tariq, a mathematical theology. Theo meaning in Greek God, ology meaning study of God. So if you don't have a mathematical study of God, you can never be able to use this teaching to secure some benefit for yourself while you are alive. Well, what is the benefit? It's luxury.
Mm-hmm.
It's money. It's good homes. It's friendships in all walks of life. It's peace and contentment of mind. It is harmony and balance with the creatures of the planet and the citizens of the planet. And it is unlimited progress. That's what it is. So we'll never get to that level if we just are waiting on a mystery God to do it. We have to have a scientific mind inside the teaching, and it has to be a mathematical theology if we're going to use the teaching according to what Master Father Muhammad said in its proper terms. And look what he said. He said, sit yourself in heaven at once.
At once. That's right.
He said that.
He ain't doing it for you.
Right.
He said, in other words, why should I give you the what when I already gave you the how?
That's right.
Take the how that I gave you and get whatever what you want.
That's right.
But that is the mathematical theology. So that, unfortunately, we have to be on guard. And there's something very unique that I noticed early in the message to the black man. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was naming the 3 chains of slavery, normally you think chains of slavery would be physical bondage, metal that you would use for physical bondage. But he said the 3 chains of slavery was the white man's name, the white man's church, and the white man's religion. Come on. I said, well, why would he have religion and church as 2 different chains?
Right.
Because you can be in the mosque, the black man's mosque, but still be in the white man's religion.
That's right.
If you're thinking spooky and not scientific.
That's right.
Man.
If you're gonna let go and let God, if you're just gonna have faith and just gonna believe, no, you have to have works that go with your faith.
Come on.
You have to have practice that goes with your theory. The video has to match the audio. You can't just know what to do. You also have to do what you know. So that's the mathematical side of it. It is the practical application of the teachings that allows us to turn the how that God gave us into the what we have in our mind that we're looking for.
That's right. That's right. Man, this is thank you so much. You answered that question tenfold. I wanted to first and foremost thank you again for joining us tonight as we come up on 40 minutes. And Jabril, can you go into some of our sponsors for tonight's episode?
Absolutely. Tonight's episode and all of our episodes going forward are brought to you by our wonderful sponsors. NOI, Ministry of Science and Technology. That's the Nation of Islam, Ministry of Science and Technology. Original Man Scientific LLC, our parent company, which is a science and technology company geared towards delivering the advantages of research and development in your community. And the Navy Bean Experimental Research Station. This is a subsidiary of Original Man Scientific, where we are focusing very furiously and vigorously on the Navy Bean to deliver advantages to you, our people, and our communities. Make sure to tune in for more from these 3 entities going forward.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and just to kind of give you a backdrop of what the Navy Bean Experimental Research Station is, and it brings me back to when our brother did his lecture on the Navy Bean back in March. You know, it was this experimental research station was inspired by the work that our brother Dr. George Washington Carver did with the soybean, the sweet potato, and the peanut. And I wanted to see what can be done with that bean as well. So I started that particular aspect of OMS, and it's going great. You know, we have a lot of products coming down the pipeline. We don't want the Navy Bean to be thought of as just a food for consumption. We also want to see how it can improve your overall environment. So definitely stay tapped into that. We have a lot of exciting things coming from that.
And Brother Tariq, before you
yes,
go
sir.
on, I wanted to on that note, thank you for providing me that ammunition.
Praise be to Allah.
For that lecture. The lecture was called the title, The Diet of God.
Right.
And the minister, I didn't even make it off the rostrum good before the minister was calling, expressing how much he enjoyed that lecture. And,
praise be to Allah.
And I want you to know that evidence that you provided about the power of the Navy beam, we received so many messages where I'm saying people that didn't even know what a Navy beam was.
Mm.
One person said, from this day forward, I went to the store today. We will be eating Navy beans every day for the rest of our life.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
So I wanted to thank you for sending the ammunition, and I hope that we were able to stick it into the weapon and shoot it at falsehood and knock out its brains. So far, it seems like we were, but I wanted to thank you for being that one that sent that artillery to the front line that day.
Praise be to Allah. I was just thankful that I had the opportunity to help. That was because I remember the night before, I think it was only maybe 2 days before that you had, reached out and asked, and I got to it right away. One day. I don't think I ever wrote anything that fast in my life, so that goes back to the purpose. When you find something that's yours and that you can take and build from, there's not a whole lot of asking of that individual when it comes to that thing. They're gonna do it swift, and they're gonna be happy about it. And that's what that feeling was like that weekend. So praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one of the questions
I'm gonna need y'all to drop some clapping emojis in the comments.
Oh, stop, man. Stop.
Get some clapping emojis for the foremost expert on the Navy beam.
No. I'm a student. I'm a student.
A student. That's
praise
right.
Be to
we need
Allah.
the clapping emojis, though. Y'all in the comments, get them clapping emojis. We have a
praise be to Allah.
Really quick, my bro and colleague went to high school together. Shout out engineering and science. Malik Baynar, he has a question. He said, with the mention of our children drowning in the public school system, is there currently any push to move our children into schools or school system developed by us for us? If so, where can those who are not part of the nation get the information to move children into these schools or system? I'm gonna tell you, brother Malik is a community advocate. He is about his business and about our children and our people. So this is coming from a good place. Thank you, brother Malik.
Thank you, Brother Malik. And we want you to know that we have over 50 Muhammad universities of Islam throughout our country, and all children are welcome to come. You don't have to be, quote unquote, a Muslim in the nation to have your child enrolled in a school. And it always perplexed me how Black children would send their children to a white Catholic school to be indoctrinated with white supremacy in the name of God.
Come on.
And pay $10,000, $15,000 a year, but won't send their children to a school that will teach their sons and daughters that every time you look at a Black man or a Black woman, and every time you look in the mirror, you're looking at God. So that will be first phase is that. And then, of course, we encourage our people to open up independent schools and that schools that are really private, that don't necessarily operate under the umbrella of a charter school. Because once you are operating under charter school, you're still under government jurisdiction and regulations. And you can't teach God. You can't teach scripture. And if at any time they want to pull the rug from underneath your foot for being too Black and too strong, they can do so.
That's right.
That's right.
We have money as a people. Black people brought in during the pandemic last year, 1.2 billion. The year before that, 1.3 billion. The year before that, 1.3 billion. The year before that, 1.1 billion dollars, making Black people in America the 8th richest nation on the earth.
That's right.
We have right now, we have almost double the wealth as Black people in America than the whole country Mexico, $400 billion more than Spain. Yet they have 300 million people that they're maintaining in Mexico, 47 million people that they're taking care of on a 208,000 square mile landmass in Spain. And they have $400 billion less than us with the same amount of people. But yet they have their own school system, their own railroads, airplanes, their own sewer systems, light companies. They have a nation that's independent in Spain with the same population we are as Black people in America, and $400 billion a year less than us. So we've got the money, Brother Malik. Our problem is that we got dollars, but we don't have cents. So we still blame the white man for 95% of our problems and then spend 97% of our money with them. We're the leaders in unnecessary spending. Black people are always buying stuff that we don't need with money that we don't have from people that we don't like. To impress people we don't even know.
Right.
So real quick, we got enough money. We just have to do it. And until then, modify our budget until you have an institution in your city, and see if you can get your wife to homeschool and live off of one income, or if she can work from home, live off of one income or whatever she can make from home. But it'd be better for us to drive a Toyota Corolla and teach our own children than to keep on pulling up at a public school system, picking our babies up from basketball practice in an S550 Benz. That's backward. Y'all didn't catch that.
I caught that.
I definitely caught that. I'm trying to relay some comments so we don't see all the comments on this screen. So sometimes we got to look at other devices to get some more comments. So I have a question from Anthony LF Muhammad out of Atlanta. And this question is kind of late because I'm just now seeing it. But so he said, why do we pray to, and I thought this is a very interesting question. Why do we pray to Master Farad Muhammad if it's all on us to do so? If it's all on us to do? I think he was referring to when he said, sit yourself in heaven at once. So if he's saying sit yourself, why do we pray to Master Farad Muhammad?
Well, it's not all on us. Sit yourself in heaven at once. Sit is a process. It takes many different things in order for you to sit. In order for you to sit, you have to be in the right position. Then you have to be in the proper proximity from what you want to sit down on. And then you have to mathematically compute how you're going to bend your knees and where you're going to land at on what you want to sit down on. And above all, what you're sitting down on has to be sturdy enough, stable enough to support your weight. So in that sense, sit yourself in heaven at once is more than just a process of individual labor. It is the process of connecting the God within you to the God that is outside of you, who's the supreme of beings. Right. And it is the synergism of you doing what you can do to the best of your ability, and then asking Allah to help you with the rest that you don't have the ability to do. So look at the prayer. Thee do we beseech for help. Thine aid
we seek.
That's right. Good teaching.
Think about it, Brother Anthony. Look at this in the Bible. If you take one step toward God, he'll make 2 steps toward you. Holy Quran says that if you make 1 step toward Allah, he will rush to your aid. In the hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, if you take 1 step toward Allah, he'll make 100 paces toward you. So in that sense, the sitting of ourself is us doing our part. We have to take that one step. And if we're asking for Allah, his help, and we're beseeching his aid, in order for you to request help from someone, you have to already be actively involved in trying to do what you're asking them help for.
That's right.
So when you ask Allah for help, you're saying, I'm trying to sit myself in heaven at once. I'm striving to do this, that, and the other. Will you help me in the process? And look at what Allah says. He says, or Muhammad was told, if you help Allah, he will help you.
That's right.
So Allah is looking really to be the primary reactionary force that comes to our assistance to help us to achieve what it is we're striving to do. But without a doubt, we need Allah. It's not either or. It's not call on Allah and let him do it, and it's not do it all by yourself and don't ask Allah for help. It's both and. So I have a saying, Brother Anthony, that I use as a mantra in my mind, and that is this: pray like everything depends on God, and work like everything depends on you.
All praises due to Allah.
You do them both at the same time, praying like it all depends on Allah doing it for you, and working like it all depends on you doing it for yourself. And when the synergism of these two come together, you'll have your prayers answered from the supreme being, connecting to the being that is supreme in you, working together in concert to bring about whatever you're striving for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I have a few more. Oh, go ahead, bro.
I think he froze a little bit.
There you go. You back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's back. Yes, sir. What were you saying? What was the last thing you said?
I was saying I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And Brother Anthony, if they did answer your question, go ahead and drop a comment real quick on my page and just let me know if that was what you were referring to. I have two more questions, and then we're gonna close it out. Jabril, there was something that you wanted to ask real quick before I go into that.
Very quickly, because so much was said, and I just want to make sure that we always right and exact in how we're reiterating things. Did you say 1.2 billion or 1.2 trillion for that buying power throughout the pandemic?
Trillion, excuse me.
Trillion, 1.2 trillion. My father asked me, and I said,
yes.
He said, was that billion or trillion? I said, I'm pretty sure it was trillion. I'm pretty sure it was billion. Yes. I said, let me ask. Look, it says
billion seems a little too small.
In the nation of Islam. So let me get that straight and figured out, and I'll make sure I can get that back. So that's 1.2 trillion. Praise be to Allah.
Trillion for all of them. 1.1, 1.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, then 1.2 trillion dollars, which puts us at $400 billion more than Spain and $500 billion more than Mexico. So thank you for that. If I said that T means a whole lot more than that B.
That's true.
Oh yeah,
that is true.
Oh yeah, it's All right. Wow. Once again, thank you. This is the most I've ever thanked somebody in one episode. But thank you again for joining us for tonight's episode. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned help, you mentioned support. Now, judging from the title of the show, a lot of people may have thought that tonight's message was just for Black scientists, but this message was for everyone. And everyone should have an understanding of how important their local scientist is to their community. How can those of us in our communities who are not scientists and engineers support those who are in the STEM fields? What are some of the best ways that they can show support to our members of the community who are not only studying the STEM fields, but also working these fields to make our communities a better place to live?
Man, very good question. And to me, it starts with the amount of praise and accolades that we give to the scientific minded children. We have a bad pattern as a people and a bad habit as Black people at honoring and praising our children for athletics, celebrating our children for athletics, but not doing that same level of praise, accolades, and support for academics. So the scientists should be honored, respected, and lifted more than the athlete, more than the entertainer. And it starts when your children are young. Do more, make over for them. You know, they shouldn't just, you shouldn't give them a big party with all their friends at a pizza buffet whenever they won their second game in the Little League baseball. No, do that for them whenever they come home with those A's, or when they go into the lab and figure out how to develop and put a science project together on their own. We have to start praising and giving credit where credit is due at a very early age. And the scientific minded ones among our children are celebrated much less than the athletic bodied children that we possess. So I'm saying we got to flip that, number one. We've got to start honoring academics more than athletics for our children. And then second, whenever our scientists are doing the work that they're doing, we have to support them by, number one, buying whatever product that they have come up with that will keep them alive and sustain them and their family, and also provide them with economic fuel for new and better things that's coming down the pipeline. So that, I think it starts as a youngster, though. I think if our parents would have trained us to honor, celebrate, and praise academic accomplishment more than athletic accomplishment, then by now, whenever we reached adulthood, we'd have such an affinity for our scientists that we wouldn't even have to have a conversation or a question like that.
Right. It ought to be in our mentality and our thought process.
That's
absolutely. Right. Jabril, you want to add something?
Well, in our last 3 minutes, first of all, I just want to express my thanks. You know, you highlighted something, and me and Tariq have talked about it a few times on the show. You talked about homeschooling until something better is available. It'd be a private institution that's going to teach you knowledge of self. Both myself and Brother Tariq are products of nearly a decade each of homeschooling before going to high school and then college. And, you know, I thank Allah for both our parents, mother and father, for taking to heart the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and not feeling inferior to a system that is working exactly as it should, exactly as it was designed to, which is to our detriment and to our enemies' betterment, right? Understanding that, you know what, if I put my mathematical theology to work and I understand what it is that is the requisite knowledge for my child to succeed and exceed expectations in this world, and then have the prerequisites for the next world, you know, I can do that. I can put one foot in front of the other and do that. All praise due to Allah. You know, we are striving to give them a return on their investment, and inshallah, they feel that we are doing a great job. So
I think that they were very proud of you. I think they are very proud of you, as your mindset and your sense of mission has to be very rewarding to them. And I will say this, that there is no school that exists out of brick and mortar that is superior to the education that a parent can give their child. Technically, homeschool should be the norm and the order of the day, and only should I send my child to a school outside of my home if I have to. Think about this, Brother Jabril. Look at this. When you graduate from a college and you tell people the school you went to or graduated from in college, you say, my alma mater is so-and-so university.
Right.
Do you know alma mater is German for other mother?
Wow.
So what is that saying? A school is the other mother. Well, the other mother is not more important than the mother.
That's
So
right.
the school becomes the other mother, meaning it's an institution that replaces the mother when the mother doesn't have the time or the ability to handle the task at hand. But by nature, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that mother is the first teacher of the child and the natural teacher of that child. So we should be able to get ourselves proficient enough in skill set and in wisdom that we, even if we don't have the ability to teach everything that they need to know, we at least know how to guide them through a curriculum that will do that for them. So don't look down on it, mothers. Ain't there's nothing you doing in the world greater than the title of mother.
That's
Mother
right.
is the
Come on.
greatest profession that could exist on the face of the planet Earth. Do you know, mothers, that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that mama is God in baby language?
That's true. Come on.
So it'll be better for you to have your child with the book bag on at home than for you to be coming to a public school picking them up with a Birkin bag on your shoulder. It'll be better for you to have less in economics of this world and be able to invest properly into the child. And to a father, think about this. The word father is only one letter short of the word farther.
Come on.
The assignment God gave a father is to make sure that his children go farther than what he went.
Sorry.
So we've got a lot of work to do to prepare a world for our children. And look at Brother Tariq. Look at Brother Jabril. They're the product of homeschooling. And our children can do the same. That's how my children came up. They only went to school whenever we opened the school. We started off with a homeschool to teach our children, and then other parents wanted their children to come to our school, and then they, I need to be audited for this, bro. I got
I can tell you started to slow down a little bit. Like, wait.
Man, I had one of the coldest dining room tables you had ever seen. This thing, when you slid it open, it was just that pure oak, and it was almost like a transformer. The whole 2 leaves jumped out the front, flipped open, and just landed where it was supposed to land. And you could put 12 people around the thing. It was humongous.
Wow.
My wife started homeschooling, and I looked up one day, and I had so many backwards F's and
they tore it up.
So many engravements all at my little table. And from there, we end up getting into opening up a Muhammad University of Islam for the children.
Right, but you was like, this got to stop.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is you all have outgrown this, and you all have killed what I bought. But so I'm saying that don't forsake your children. The number one investment of a real man and a real woman is not your 401k, not your IRA, not the home you live in, not the business you want to open. Your number one investment is the minds of your children. Do whatever it takes to make sure you make that investment priority, and we're gonna be all right.
Praise be to Allah. Now I know we like to. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say something else, but go ahead if there's something else you wanted to say.
Gotcha. It was actually a question. I know we like to keep the show at an hour to avoid those extremely long 4 or 5 hour long podcasts and shows. But I wanted to combine 2 questions into one because this was something that I wanted to just get examples of from you.
Yes,
and
sir.
that was, matter of fact, Jabril, is what you had to say a question, or was it just a statement?
Oh, it was actually something in closing. I wanted to make sure we didn't forget to support and let people know how to get in contact and follow Brother Nuri. And we talked about our next guest, but we'll do that when we're
Okay.
done.
Got you. So my last question, and I'll make sure this is the last one. In closing, what does the Black scientist mean to the development of our nation? And can you give any examples on that?
Well, it means everything, because technically, again, like we said in so many words, all of us should have a goal to become a scientist. And if you look up the definition or the etymological root of the word science, it comes from the Latin scire, which means to know or to have knowledge. Right. So science is really acquisition of knowledge. And the minister said this. He said, knowledge is the force that allows you to overcome barriers and obstacles in your life. The greater the knowledge, the greater the force. The greater the subject that you have knowledge about, the greater the force. What gives one the highest expression of personal force and personal power is to have the most knowledge about the most important thing in the universe, and that's God himself. So all of us should be striving to be a scientist, one that knows the most we can learn about the most important object, God himself. When you have a lot of the knowledge of God, you have a lot of force and power. And when you have a lot of force and power, you have the ability to meet and overcome barriers and obstacles in your life faster and easier. That's first. Second, in the sign of science, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said there were 3 sciences that were never taught to the slaves. And you can go and look it up in the congressional record from 1867, 2 years up from the Emancipation Proclamation. In Congress, they were debating on whether they were going to let Black people get higher education. And the answer was yes, but there was 2 rules. Number 1, Black people can't come to white schools. Number 2, Black children in college must never be taught the science of warfare, the science of finance, or the science of mating. So for that, Brother Tariq, honor and salute the scientists of all the different technological and biological and engineering fields. But each one of us should be striving to be one that knows, has a lot of knowledge of God, a lot of knowledge on how to choose a mate and how to stay with that mate till death do us part. We should know warfare, and we should know the science of finance, how to use a dollar and how to get a dollar to work for you instead of you having to work for it. So these 4 areas of science, all of us must become scientists of. And then for those brothers and sisters that are in those other specific pathways that enhance the quality of our life and set up a better future for us, support them, love them. And if that's you born to be that, do it. Not for change, but do it for change.
That's right.
Don't worry about your pocket and feeling full of your pocket. Worry about fulfilling your purpose. Thank you so much, Brother Tariq. Hopefully that answers that question.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. It did. And the way you got Indianapolis on lock, I'm sure you got those 3 sciences down pat. So thank you again for being. Yes, sir. Thank you for being an example to what we are taught via the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now we can close out. Go ahead, Jabril.
Praise be to Allah. Family, this has been the STEM Files, the Voice of STEM Talent in Black Culture, every Thursday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am the brilliant engineer, co-host Tariq Cardiac. We have been live on the STEM Files across YouTube and Facebook, and make sure to follow us for additional content, clips of old content, and what we're doing in the future at STEM Files on Instagram and Twitter. I've been thoroughly fed. I know y'all been killing the comments with all of your questions. Kudos. We appreciate that you've appreciated and fell in love with what we've been able to present. Like I said, this platform is very important to myself and Tariq because it allows us to exercise that science-minded aspect and take us back to when we were younger. Like, I remember when I was 5, 6, and that love of science was pure. Not that it isn't now, but I got bills now, so it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to remember, where you're from. You know what I'm saying? I'm married and everything, so you got to take that time to fall back in love with it. You know what I'm saying? Not always worrying about paying for stuff. So thank you so much, Nuri. How can people learn more about you, get in touch with you, support you in any way, whether it be your books and other works?
Thank you, Brother Jabril. Well, the easiest way is to go to NuriMuhammad.com. All the lectures, books, and whatnot are all present there. And of course, I'm on social media, Nuri Muhammad on Instagram, Facebook, and I have a fan page on Facebook because the other one has been full for a while, but you can get on the other one, and I put the same thing on both pages, and I'm on Twitter as Brother Nuri. But if you Google me, you'll find all of that out. Type in my name, Nuri Muhammad, on Google, and all of that will show up, and click it. And I'm going to say this to all of the young brothers and sisters, that I'm your uncle. You're my nephew and my niece.
That's right.
If you ever need anything or you ever need to ask something, DM me, or on my website, NuriMuhammad.com, there's at the top of the page a button that says Contact Brother Nuri. As soon as you click it and type a word in there, I get an immediate notification. And I promise you, I will answer you and do whatever I can to help you to become the best you that you possibly can be in the future. So hopefully you'll use it. Tap in. It don't cost nothing. It's free.
Right.
That's right.
But I'll be there to try to help out at NuriMuhammad.com or any of my social media pages.
So, family, this is an action-packed weekend actually for the STEM Files, and this is just the start, and we've already been thoroughly fed. But Tariq, talk to us about our next guest, who's going to be giving us a very, interesting and innovative look at the geosciences.
Yes. So our next guest is this Sunday at a special time and a special day, because we usually don't go live on Sundays. It's going to be going live Sunday, May 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central. Is Jordan Chapman. He's an anthropology major at the University of Georgia. And right now his research focuses on using geosciences to understand the impact of slavery in the South. So he'll definitely be tapping in with us this Sunday, May 23rd at 3 p.m. at a special time of 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So wherever you're watching this, you're going to be able to watch this episode on Sunday. So definitely tap in. Jordan Chapman, University of Georgia, anthropology. And this is the first time we have a guest on the show that focuses in this area. So it should be a lit and a very informative show. So tap in. Anything else, Jabril?
Right. I mean, without further ado, man, STEM Files, Brother Nuri, your brilliant engineer, Tariq Cardiac. Until this Sunday, family, stay tapped in. We love to continue to give you that awesome game in STEM and other things. Follow us, see us grind, see us rise. Peace.
Peace.